Welcome to How Now, the podcast where we talk about how to live in the now. And here's your host, Kim Martin Raymond.
Peace and blessings, love and light, and welcome to this edition of the How Now podcast, where we talk about how to live in the now. My name is Kim Martin Raymond. I am your host. I am a minister, spiritual life coach, author, and founder of Redefining You LLC, where I help my clients to realign themselves, mind, body, and spirit. If this is your first time listening into the How Now podcast, welcome to our show. We are in season 2 of the How Now podcast, and we'd love for you to tune in and to see what's going on with the How Now podcast. So go to my website, www.hownowpodcast.com. You can pick your favorite podcast platform, and that way you can check in. You can set up the notifications so you'll know when our next show is about to air, or you can sign up to be a part of my How Now YouTube channel, where you can find out more about our shows. You can watch our shows in their pre-recorded state, and you can also follow me on my wellness journey. Again, that's www.hownowpodcast.com. So let's hop into today's show. We're going to be talking about wellness. You know, we're coming up on the summer months. We're getting ready to, get fit for the summertime. There are a lot of people who are excited about, making sure that they look their best. And there have been so many changes in diets. There have been so many types of diets. There have been so many types of programs that we're seeing. And we want to kind of whittle our way through those and see, what's going to be best for us according to our personal wellness journey. And so, as is customary with the How Now podcast, I'm going to ask my guest to introduce herself at this time, and we'll dive right in.
Hello, my name is Gintare, and I'm Ketogenic Wellness and Nutritionist coach. I work with the females on their weight loss and with the females who are suffering with the hypothyroidism.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Okay, How Now is going international. Our guest is joining us from London. So we are very excited about you being here. Hey, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. And with our differencing in time zones. Thank you for joining us and for being here with us today. We're glad to have you here.
Okay. My pleasure.
Yes. So let's dive in. So let's talk about that. You said that you are a ketogenic wellness coach. So before we dive into that, now, was that something that you were doing prior to the pandemic?
Yes, there was a prior to the pandemic, and I was doing nutrition as well. And when kind of pandemic hit, obviously, the world changed upside down. Everyone got stuck at home, got in their comfort zone and, want too many candies or, ice cream. And, as I say, the moment on the lips, the lifetime on the hips, right? And so a lot of people started to need, our help. So I was at the beginning, I was focusing at the general weight loss for women, because we women are, delicate creatures.
Yes.
We have hormones, and for us it's more difficult to lose weight.
Absolutely.
Than for men. And that's where my focus was, to help females. And as the time went on, kind of I started looking, I've been approached quite a few females who suffer with the hypothyroidism.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those women, and I know how hard it is to lose weight when you have hypothyroidism, because this is a side effect, right? So my focus I got narrowed down myself basically, and I just started working with women who has hypothyroidism. But I don't mean that it's only for that. I still have a client who suffers with weight loss, with extra weight. So they want just to lose weight. So I'm kind of a little bit working with both.
Right. And I see, and that's awesome, because just like you said, when the pandemic hit and people really started sitting down and becoming couch potatoes, so to speak, where they were doing a lot of eating and snacking and things like that, it really did become a problem. It became a problem for me personally as well. I was, out there, running on the treadmill. I was out there, eating properly, and I was going out to a health club and was participating in classes twice a week. And then when everything shut down, my body shut down, everything shut down. I started having a few health issues that came up because, just like you said, as women, we begin to age, and then, perimenopause and menopause and all these other delightful things that we as women go through start popping up. And it really, it put a damper on things. And so I'm sure that, like you said, you saw a turn in your clientele and in the needs for them. And I guess that's where, we get to the point where we have to pivot and say, okay, I want to be able to meet the needs. So you said that you suffered with hypothyroidism. When did you find out about that? Did you find out about that during the pandemic, or was that prior to the pandemic?
So that was very kind of beginning of the pandemic. And it took a turn for sure. It's not such an easy thing. It changes, your lifestyle. It changes your life. Your life just goes upside down from that second once you find out, you had it. And it affects your mental health as well, because it's a lot to process. It's not just like sort of, you have a cold, this is the thing you have for the rest of your life, and you are dependent on medication. And going from completely healthy person that was nothing wrong with me, never been attended, never been in a hospital, hospitalized or anything. The worst case scenario I had was a flu. All of a sudden, I've just been told that I need to go on medication, and my life depends on kind of medication. Right. So it's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
It's affected my mental health.
Yes.
My confidence affected. Yeah. Obviously I questioned myself as a nutritionist basically as well, because as a side effect you gain weight. Is one of the side effects, right? There is many more, but as being nutritionist and trying to to work on it, to lose weight, and it still is not working. Right. You feel like a little bit, you start questioning yourself. You feel lost, because like this is my expertise. Right. And now all of a sudden, now it's no matter what kind of I'm trying things to do, and it's not working. So it took a time for me to figure out what works for me. I tried quite a few things, right? Quite a few things that to adjust, my body, that it actually, this is what I need. I needed to make some tweaks. Right. And luckily, yes, I did manage. And this is where kind of my compassion started, basically, to my heart go out to women who suffer, with hypothyroidism, because I felt so, not kind of sorry, but it's compassion, right? Considering myself being nutritionist, right? I'm struggling to lose weight. Right. And this is my expertise in here. Right. And for women who, they are not nutritionists, they don't know, they just like sometimes even not even super healthy eaters, right? And now they're gaining extra pounds, and those extra pounds coming in, sometimes you feel just by looking at the food, That's
right. just walking by and smelling the food.
Yeah, you
like,
just
I've gained 2 or 3 pounds.
Yes, I just smell a piece of cake and I gained 3 pounds.
Right.
This is how it feels sometimes, because we all different, And I reached out to, like, so many women reached out to me, because it's like for the social media and all that stuff. And I really got like, I was getting angry because they haven't been told, from their doctors, like full information, and there's lack of information in that department for sure. And they just completely felt lost. Right. They felt like hopeless. and they just like literally they ready to throw the towel because they like try this, try that, and there's nothing works. And it literally, that's where they, you know, they feel like no matter what I do, nothing works. So it's just let it go. Basically, I will, you know, that's it for me.
Right.
And it's not, it does work. You just didn't found what it works for you. And sometimes you do need help, you know,
Right.
to find, you know, for someone, you know, for guidance, you know, for the
That's it.
support, for the, you know, the accountability as well. Because some women, like, they tried it for a week and it goes, oh, this doesn't work for me. It's a journey. It's not a race. Give it a time to your body. This is, we talking about losing weight, not gaining weight, you know.
Right. Well, I mean, you hit on some very, very fundamental points. You know, one thing is that it's not just a fitness, a physical journey, it is a mental journey.
Exactly.
Absolutely, because sometimes, you know, when we have things to happen, or when we're used to our body being a certain way, and we see this all the time. We see this with young people who were always fit. They could eat whatever they wanted to eat and they never gained a pound. And then all of a sudden they get into their 20s or their 30s, and all of a sudden their body says, oh, no, we can't eat like this anymore. We don't metabolize like that. And so, yeah, you have people. So it's a mental thing. And just like you said, being a nutritionist and knowing the ins and outs of nutrition and how the body functions, then to all of a sudden be diagnosed with something, and then everything that always worked for you, now all of a sudden it's like, not so much. And just like you said, people take it as a magic bullet. You know, as soon as I start this weight loss program, I'm supposed to lose that weight within a week. You know, it took you 20 years, 25 plus years to get as big as you did, and you think it's only going to take you a minute to lose it.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. And so
it does happen all the time. And the thing is with women is they always, when I speak with my clients and I'm asking them, you know, how, you know, your body was before, and they still have that mentality when they were in the 20s. And it doesn't matter, they are maybe now in the late 30s, in the 40s, in the 50s, they still the mindset that when they were in their 20s, and maybe for the last, like, if they're in the 50s, for the last 30 years, let's just say, they've been like overweight, or like, you know, for 20 years they've been, but they still remember that particular year when they were in their 20s and they were weighing, they were maybe the lightest ever they've been, and they remember that, and that's their body kind of image in their head, they've got it, and they want to achieve that. Well, that's really not possible, because our body shape is changing with every single decade.
That's
it. And
genetics.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter whether you had the babies or not, you know, our body is changing, and this is a fact, and you have to admit that. But it kind of still living in denial. And I'm not saying that you cannot have amazing body in your 40s. There is, you know, I work with women who they've been in the best shape in the 40s than they were been before, you know. And it doesn't mean that, you know, once you hit 30 from that on, you know, you're just going down the hill, basically, you know. It's up to you. What do you want? And whether you want to achieve that, do you want to have, you know, hit your 40s with the, you know, like a new 20, basically, you know.
And we're hearing so many things. And then, you know, like I said, it's definitely a mindset, and it's definitely a mental thing, because look at all the images that we're seeing. We're seeing people changing their bodies. We're seeing people airbrushed, you know, so we're looking at magazine covers and we're thinking that that's how people really look, and that they have no wrinkles in their skin at all. And we know that the magic of technology makes it possible for us all to look amazing. You know, we have all these filters and things, and people really look at what they see out there in social media, on stage. They don't realize how much lighting, you know, we have ring lights and makeup and all kinds of things that give us a look
like in the morning.
right. Yeah. You look at me in the morning when I wake up, you're going to see a totally different Kim. Yeah, it's amazing how, you know, the things that we have to do, especially as women, the things that we have to do to try to cover up or try to, you know, to downplay, you know, the image that's been set before us. Is such a challenge. And then, like you said, when you have a pre-existing condition that you have no control over, then like you said, it's so important for you to have to try different things and to tweak it, because it's not going to be a one size fits all. And I think that's where it's important, you know, as a nutritionist, for you to ask those questions and for people to be honest about what it is that they're experiencing or what it is that they're living. But if their mindset has that they're still that cheerleader back in high school, they're not going to be in that mindset to be able to take on the you know, recommendations that you're going to give them, you know, that are going to help them to make the changes. And they have to be ready to say, okay, I know that this is going to be a process. Like you said, it's a journey. It is not a sprint. It took you years to get where you were, and it's going to take you possibly years to get back. You know, everyone is trying to look for that fast track. And it's really not, it's a lifestyle change. It's not it's a life. The word life is in that lifestyle. So it's going to take time.
It is absolutely, you're right. It's a lifestyle. And there is no such a thing as quick, easy, fixable diet. And if you come in with this kind of attitude, this is your expectations, I want an easy to follow up diet. And I'm like, this is not going to happen, because that easy diet, this is where you got you today. This is who you are today, that easy to follow up diets, you know. And sometimes, you know, I tell people the truth. I don't do sugarcoating, because, you know, sugarcoating takes nowhere, basically, you know. And sometimes, you know, truth is hard, you know, it's harsh, and you need to, you know, take you on board. You no longer, you know, your body doesn't accept the things what they used to accept, you know, the foods and, you know, the lifestyle, you know, maybe you drink too much, maybe, you know, sort of food on the junk food, maybe you haven't too many takeaways, you know, this kind of, every little counts. And people just like think that, oh, it's just gonna like a little bit tweak there and there and it's gonna be fine. Maybe for some men it does work, maybe, but it's minority, right? It's tiny minorities. Most, you know, for women is extremely hard, and it's not such a thing, you know, that I just want to, you know, wake up skinny and here we go, I am.
That's it. It never happens that way. And just like you said, it's definitely a mindset. It's definitely a decision that you have to make. It definitely starts there. And I mean, even for people who, like you were saying earlier, who were always big, and then they begin to lose weight. You know, like in my instance, I've lost 55 pounds. And so thank you. And so what happens is, you know, I had been large for a better part of the last 35 years. And then when you start to lose weight and you go into a store, you automatically do what? You go right back to what you know. You go right back to that area. I go right back to the plus size, because that's where my mind has been for the last 35 years. I don't know how to turn the other way because I've always gone this way. So
that's all you know.
That's it. That's it. And that's why it's so important to have, you know, someone there, like you said earlier as well, about accountability, to have somebody there who can say, okay, what are you willing to do different? But the decision has to start with that person first, and them saying, okay, this is what I want to do, and not looking for the shortcut, but saying, okay, I've got to set my mind to the fact that if I want to feel better, if I want to be better, if I want to look better, it's going to be a process, and I can't do it on my own. I need help, and to be willing to take that help.
Yes, for sure. Even like I come across with women, even today I had one conversation. It kind of starts like, oh, we will see. So I will start working with you and we will see, you know, if this is for me. And I'm like, it's not such a thing as if this is for you, you know, you're already starting your journey like with kind of negativity, you know, so and it's like, this is the wrong way approach, you know. You decided to work only for a month, for 28 days. days flying by. We all know that. It's, 28 days is nothing. And I was like, you have to give yourself all in. It's not such a thing. If this gonna work, maybe it's gonna work, or what if? I said, no, you go in full, like mentally prepared,
Right.
and you're doing it. You're straight away doing it. It's not like sort of what if, and so we're gonna start in a couple of weeks time. And I said to her, like, in those 2 weeks time, I want you to start yourself mentally prepared that this day comes, and you start your weight loss journey, and you're preparing yourself mentally for those 2 weeks ahead. You could do on your phone a countdown,
Right.
so what is waiting for you. Same as like you go into your doctors basically, and sometimes you for whatever test, and that actually you're not looking forward to it.
Right.
So you kind of like anxious at the same
Right.
time. You don't. It's some things like that. Obviously, I'm just not gonna go. I'm not a doctor. You're not gonna do any tests. We're gonna start, a journey. But at least mentally, you prepare yourself.
Right.
That this is gonna happen.
Right.
And you're ready. It's not like one of those, where you sit down, you have enormous dinner, you ate way too much, and you're feeling uncomfortable in your own skin, and then you decided, like, yes, I'm gonna go on a diet from tomorrow. And then you wake up tomorrow, and your body's all all that food from yesterday. You feel okay, and the diet lasts till 12 o'clock.
Right. That's right.
That's it. Because their mindset is not there. They're not prepared.
Yes.
So just like there was always tomorrow, as I said, there's always tomorrow for them, or there is always Monday, or there is always first of the month,
Right.
So, and it starts with mindset, isn't it?
Just like you said, it's a we tend to self-sabotage. We tend to do that all the time, because you will have some people, if they know that, like you said, we're going to start this wellness journey on Monday, well, it's going to be Fat Sunday. We're going to eat like, it's Thanksgiving times 10. Right. We got to clean out the refrigerator. So we got to eat everything that's in there. So, if I'm going to start this tomorrow, I might as well just go ahead and binge eat for the rest of the day, until it's time to do that. And then just like you said, tomorrow comes and you feel horrible that first day. And just like you said, the next day you're feeling better, and you're like, okay, well, never mind, I'm good,
Exactly. But even the same thing, like when you say, like, if you decided to go binge eating for the rest of the day. And I said to my clients, I said, if you had like a slice of cake, you tripped it a little bit, you went, fell off of the wagon, as we say. I said, it's okay, right? But don't do that one slice of cake, don't turn into the whole day binge eating, If you feel already bad about having a slice of cake at someone's birthday, okay, fine, have it, but you slipped a little bit. But at the same time, it's not that bad to recover. But when you start going the whole day, having, and normally they're not gonna go like for that binge, they're gonna be everything, the worst food you could ever lay your hands on, And I'm like, what has just happened? What has just happened? Like, you're going to treat yourself with a slice of cake, and you went through all the deep fried food, basically, through all the sugars that was on the table. What has just happened?
Right.
So again, is the self-control. Is that, mental side of the health as well. Because it's like, and that's the problem, I think, with the weight loss comes with the women. People don't understand how much mental health basically is to do with that, because everyone thinks easy to follow recipes. Fine, no problem. I could give you recipes, you will get it. There is online, there is a book, Amazon, here we go, Amazon, there is so many books, right? Recipes, you could go for it, right? And everyone buys it, but no one's like, how worked for you? Where did you end up? How did you follow? For how long did you follow? Did you follow to begin with? Did you start following? And there's a thing, I do coaching. I do the live video talks for my clients once a week, because they're going through that emotional eating. They're going through the stress eating. They go into that binge eating, boredom eating. They all of that. And when you're starting talking about it, they start realize that is a bigger chunk of the whole program is more that mental
Absolutely.
clarity, that stability, then actually that recipe, that, you know, that meal plan, that is just a teeny tiny fraction, you know, that's nothing to compare what is waiting for them ahead. And it's true. And just a lot of people don't realize it. And I say that there is sugar addictions. I said, can you tell, you know, it's like the same as being alcoholic or drug addict, you know.
Yes.
I said, like, if I'm going to cut you slice of, you know, teeny tiny slice of cake, and the rest of the cake I'm going to put in the fridge, can you tell me, do you have that self-control that every single time you're going to go in the fridge, open the fridge, and there's that cake looking at you? Can you control yourself not eating it? Considering once you're going to have your cake, you're going to obviously affect your blood, you know, insulin is going to spike on, then it's going to crush it down, and you start craving again for sugar. And the cake's there in the fridge. Do you have a self-control?
Right.
Can you say no to the rest of the cake?
That's
you
right.
know?
Right.
And there you go. So there is so much involved in there. And, you know, and people as well, they put pressure on themselves a lot.
People put pressure on people a lot with, even with the holiday, you know, we use food for everything. You know, when we have a funeral, you know, then you have the you know, the repast, and everybody is eating, and they're going to someone's house to eat. You know, it's a wedding, we're going to have a reception, we're going to eat. You know, it's a birthday party, we're going to go and eat. It's a graduation, we're going to go and eat. It's the holidays, you know, it's hot outside, we're going to go and barbecue. Everything that we do revolves around food. And so we forget about the fact that it's the camaraderie, that it's the family coming together. It's coming together to celebrate a special occasion. And we've attached food to all of it.
Yes. And I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm a foodie, you know, but it's a choices, isn't it?
Yes.
You can make a healthy choices, and you can make bad choices, right? And even if you make a bad choices, you know, you need to still be kind of be aware, you know, of those bad choices. And again, it's like, as I say, our eyes are bigger than a stomach.
Yes.
We want food all the time, but our stomach cannot. So just be mindful and understand that don't put so much pressure on your stomach, because then, you know, if you've been following diet through like weeks, you know, your stomach is used to those portion sizes, you know, and your stomach knows when it's been fed, it's enough, but your eyes still wants it because it tastes delicious, obviously. So once it's another pleasure, it's a guilty pleasure, isn't it?
It's a guilty pleasure. And then we eat so fast. Some people who only have a half an hour, like, you know, some hourly workers here in the States, they have to, you know, they only have a half an hour to eat. So they're like, and so by the time you eat so fast, you don't even realize that you've eaten the food. And so your stomach has not even had a chance to realize that it's full.
So true.
Yeah. And then you start snacking because you don't feel like you've eaten enough because your body hasn't gotten the signal.
Exactly. Because and that's such a good point, actually, because that's what I say for my clients as well. When you eat, be like, you need to eat slowly. I'm not saying like you need to chew like 50 times every single mouthful, you know, but you need to be aware. Make sure you you taste the food, you know what is the flavor is. And at the same time, the longer it takes you to eat, the slower you eat, because your basically stomach to send a message to your brain, it takes 20 minutes. It takes 20 minutes to realize that it's been fed. And I always say, like, you know, people just work on your portions, like eat that much and see, are you still hungry? If you're still hungry, you could add more, you know, but let your basically stomach to send a message to your brain that it's been fed. And you don't have to eat until you cannot walk and you need to have a lay down, basically, you know. I always say the best is you need to eat until you 80% full.
There you go. And that's important because, like you said, what happens is we talk about, oh, this food was great, and we want to try everything. And then, you know, for us to talk about how great food is, we're always talking about, oh, I got the itis. It made me so tired. Or, oh, I'm so stuffed. My husband used to always say, my stomach broke. He's like, I think I broke a bone in my stomach. He's like, I broke a bone in my stomach. I think I ate too much, And so if eating to the point of excess makes me feel ill afterwards, how's that good? But we don't stop. But we do the next day. We go back and we do the same thing all over again. Stuff ourselves beyond, the point of being full, and then we're miserable the rest of the day. We have to go and lay down somewhere because our stomach hurts. And so, why is that? Why do we keep doing it?
Exactly. And at the same time, like when we literally physically we cannot eat anymore, like we stuck up to here, we still eating.
Yes.
And I think everyone is guilty of that. Like, even the parties, like, you full from your main dish, basically from all the barbecue, let's just say, right?
Right.
But no, there is a dessert coming and I have to taste dessert.
Right.
Because there is a cake, but there is no room for that cake, but I have to taste it.
Right.
And this is like, it's completely like, I'm going to end up in the food coma.
That's it. Because we feel like we have to try everything. Like, oh my gosh, I have to eat that cake. Like there's never, ever going to be cake served ever again. So we have to eat that cake, or I have to eat that whole bag of potato chips because they're going to stop making Doritos. So I'm going to need to eat I need to eat all the Doritos. That bag of chips, we see that bag of chips and we think that it's just one serving, and we don't realize that when we turn the bag over, we've eaten 4 servings out of that one bag, or we get things that are supersized. We look at what we see in at the fast food restaurants, and we ask for a large soda, and like I said, it's like should have a handle on it because it's like a bucket of soda. It's so much soda. We get so many things that are supersized that are outside of the normal size that it's supposed to be, and we're thinking, well, it came in this cute little package, so it must be this one serving size. It can't be more than one. So we by packaging everything, I think a lot of it is about knowledge. If we don't take the time to read,
It is, but at the same time as where I'm going to go back to self-control.
Yeah.
Just because you open a bag of chips, it doesn't mean that you have to finish.
Yeah.
Can you stop after a few handfuls?
Right.
Of the chips? And this is where at home I do, like when I do the barbecues, or like even for myself, if I serve something that comes in the bag, right, I will always put in a dish.
Nice.
So it's kind of, you see, you eat what you see, and that's it.
Right. And I think that's also good even when you go into the restaurant. What I tend to do is I'll ask them to bring, if it's a small enough portion, I'll go ahead and eat it. But if it's a larger than normal portion, what I'll do is tell them to bring me a to-go box already, so I can go ahead and take half of it off the plate already, so that way it's out of sight. Because if you see it, you're going to keep on eating. Like you said, there are some people who have even been conditioned from childhood, clean your plate or you're not going to get to do something that you want to do. And that's an issue.
Exactly. And this is exactly, that's the mentality. Like we've been brought up that if we must finish.
Right.
We must finish whatever is whether it's in the bag, whether it's on the plate, we must finish. And which I agree with that, because waste food is bad, right?
I tell you, children are starving in Africa. That's what they used to tell us when we were little. Children are starving in Africa. You're throwing away food. You're being wasteful. Yeah.
But then if you got that mentality that you need to eat everything what is on your plate, whether then make sure that your portions are smaller.
Right.
Or, you don't have to finish the food. You could put in the container and leave for tomorrow, for lunch, for a snack later on, for a dinner tomorrow, whatever it is, right?
Right.
You don't have to, if you cannot eat anymore, don't eat.
Right. Right. And you see, and I think that goes back to the point of, even when we're talking about pre-existing conditions, everything starts with mindset. Everything starts with accountability. Everything starts with making that decision that I'm going to do something to change the course of how I'm feeling. Because for me, I started my wellness journey because I felt like I just did not feel a sense of wellness. I did not feel well. I felt lethargic. I felt sick all the time. And I was like, I'm tired of feeling sick and tired. I don't want to be in this space. And so that's what did it for me. That was a turnaround for me because I just did not feel a sense of wellness. And I have a grandbaby and I want to be able to run around with her. And I can't do that if I'm feeling sick and tired all the time. And so it definitely has to be something set in your mind to do that. But even with the pre-existing conditions, just like you said, you know a lot about nutrition, and now here it is, you were diagnosed with the hypothyroidism, and now you're like, okay, the things that I was doing weren't working, but I know that there are other things that I can try. Yes. So it's that willingness to be able to say, okay, I know that this doesn't work for me, but that doesn't mean that nothing is going to work for me.
Exactly, absolutely. And just because doctor prescribes you medication and they put you on a medication, a pill is not answer to everything.
Right.
It will, it will help you, it will stabilize your hormones. And again, it's still a journey. You still need to find, the right balance, the dosage and all that of the medication, right? It's not just like I put you on and off you go and it's all amazing, like nothing happened to you. It's still a journey. But at the same time, embracing a holistic lifestyle as the side of it and bringing that in, it helps a lot.
Right.
It helps. It's like everything helps. It's healthy eating starts, affects you, gives you more energy. Right. Where there is like some essential oils, like, helps you release your stress and, sleep better. Your sleeping pattern's going to improve. As I always say, every little helps.
Yes.
We need to be like open-minded. Meditation. If you like, because what it is, once you have a hypothyroidism and you are stressed out, that doesn't help. And because obviously you stressed out, you don't want to be stressed out, but the condition is stressing you out because you get the side effects, and it's very stressful because you cannot control it because this is side effect. And you think, I could do everything. I want to control. I don't want to have that, but you don't know what to do. So the stress comes in. Right. And stress plays a big part of that meditation. Yeah. Just sit in there, meditation. So just, to get yourself, in a calm.
Right.
Every little helps.
Right. Just like you said, even with, when we go and we pick up our medication, they give you a whole booklet of side effects and things. And sometimes we don't even look at that. We just take the pill and we just say, oh, it's not working. I feel nauseous. And they say, then you go and you pay to go to the doctor, and the doctor tells you just what the paper said. It said that you were going to have nausea, you're going to have vomiting, or you might have this or that. And we don't stop to read sometimes and see that, okay, this is a side effect. This is normal. Or sometimes because we don't want to appear to be a burden or a pain to someone, we just say, oh, well, it's all right. I'm just going to, go along with this. Sometimes it may just be a simple tweak of they may need to reduce the medication or increase it just a little bit. And that may be what helps you. But because we don't take the time to do those things and to listen to our bodies, which is so important, listen to our bodies and be able to say, okay, I don't feel well, or I don't know whether this is working for me. We just go, oh, well, I'm okay. Well, I think it's working. If it's not working and your body is feeling like it's not working, then say something, because that little subtle change may be what works for you. And so it's important. That's why they ask all of these questions. And then sometimes we feel like it's a test. And if we don't answer the question the way we think that they want us to answer it, that, it's they're going to be upset with us. No, the only way they're going to know is if we're honest with ourselves and with them about the treatment that we're receiving. And we have to be our own best advocate. And I think sometimes we don't do that. We just go, oh, okay, they're the doctor. They know what's best. Not always the case.
No,
not always the case.
Not always is. No, always is.
And so, that's the thing. I think that's important. It's important for us to be able to know that the changes that we're making is not one solution for everybody. It's not a one size fits all. We don't go into a store and every size is a size small. We have small, extra large, medium, 1X, 2X, 3X. We have all kinds of sizes because we're all not designed the same. And I think that is so important for us to remember that, what are we doing to put ourselves in the place of feeling the best that we can feel. And I mean, that's something. I think that mindset piece is going to be the piece that, if there's any takeaway, that's going to be what it is. What is your mindset? What are you willing to learn? And we don't know a lot, and we have to be willing to say, okay, what we don't know, Google it. What we don't know, go and find a book. At least start, because you don't even know what questions to ask if you don't know anything about what it is that you have. So if you have a pre-existing condition and you don't know enough about it or haven't researched it, how do you know what question to ask the doctor?
That's, I think there's the problem is because doctors don't give you any information once you been diagnosed. And this is, I think, where it's wrong. Like, when sometimes you go, I don't know, if you go for a contraceptic, or for any pill, sometimes they give you leaflet.
Yes.
Right? And this kind of explains everything. And it would be amazing if they do something like that for like hypothyroidism,
Right.
So then you kind of like, people would know what to expect, what it is, what is the side effects, what kind of, how can they live with this in the long run, right? Because this is for the rest of their life.
That's right.
It's not a temporary thing, right?
Right.
And when the doctor comes, or calls you and gives you medication prescription, and that's it, literally next blood test in 3 months time to see how you're going, off you go next. And for a human to adjust that, to digest, as I say, it's a lot. You have a lot of questions, like what has just happened, why this happened, why is for the rest of my life. Like, we not doctors, we never had this condition before, and doctors not willing to explain it from the very beginning.
Right.
And this is where, and then once again, back to the mental health, right?
Right. Because what happens is, if you have a pre-existing condition and it's something that's genetic or something that, where it's a history in your family, suppose that family member is deceased. You can't ask them what it was that they experienced or what it was that they went through, because that's what we tend to do too. We say, well, who in the family had this? So you're looking around, who had this and why'd you give it to me? And then, then you start asking them, well, what kind of symptoms did you have? And why didn't you mention anything? Or why didn't you say anything? And then we rely on that person to tell us what their experience was, but their experience may not be the same as ours. I think about, when I was a kid, we didn't have all these peanut allergies and all these other allergies. We ate everything, dirt, drank dirty water. All those things.
Hey.
Right. And I was like, what is this gluten-free? We'd never heard of anything like this.
No.
All of these different restrictions and dietary restrictions, we ate whatever they brought out at the restaurant. We ate whatever our parents put on that plate. And it wasn't that, I don't think I want to eat this. I just want chicken nuggets with the French fries. I don't want to eat this and that. We didn't have all of these restrictions that we have now. And so it's amazing how, we as a society have created this normalcy. We've created this environment of thinking that things have to happen quick and suddenly. What do they say? How many days does it take to make a habit? Is 21 days to make a habit?
21.
So just like when you were talking about the young lady who was saying, I'm going to give it 28 days. So you're really giving yourself a week on the program, because it's going to take you 21 days to make that make whatever it is that you're doing a habit anyway.
Exactly. And this is what I'm saying, like, when you say like everything is available now, I say is like, we live at the moment in the day where I call it like every day is a Christmas day.
Yes.
Everything is available. It's nothing special. There is nothing, that, I'm going to have this for Christmas, or this is my treat chocolates that I will have only for my birthday, or stuff like that. Right. everything is always available 24/7. Fruits, vegetables, whether they're in the season here, but they are in the season somewhere else, and we have it, whether they are fully nutrient dense or not, that's another question, right?
That's right. That's right. And you don't even have to go out and get it. They'll bring it to you.
Exactly, right? And you think, like, we have bananas in the middle of the winter, and it's like, hold on a minute, I don't have a palm tree in this country to begin with, right? But we have bananas, right? So, but that's what I'm saying. It's like people have that no self-control, and they just like, cause it's just there, they just, go in and get it.
That's it. So like I said, there are just such a myriad of things that we have taken into consideration before we even talk about starting a journey. And just like you said, that mindset is the first piece. So let's just make sure that we give people those little nuggets. So those who are taking avid notes about the wonderful things that we're talking about here, that we just give them a little checklist of things that they can do if they're looking to start their wellness journey, even if they have a pre-existing condition. So we'll start off with the mindset. Make sure that you're in that proper mindset for starting the journey. Okay. Yes. And then we'll go on from there. What's something else that they should be aware of?
So mindset is number one. Without mindset, it won't last long.
Right.
For sure. You will last till 12 o'clock afternoon or max a week, right?
Right.
And then the food, obviously, it's a lot, whatever comes, no processed food.
No.
Making the right choices, whatever, as I say, to simplify, whatever comes in the box, no. Simply no.
Always read the label. Like you said, read the label.
Exactly. Read the labels. Sugar is a killer. Sugar is a killer, and it's these days, sugar been used in so many things where it doesn't need to be used.
Right. And it's in different names, sucrose and fructose and things like that. And if you're not familiar with those terms, go and Google different names for sugar, so that way you know what you're getting.
Exactly, because sometimes the label can, fool you. Could say like, sugar 0, but then you've got artificial sugars.
Right.
And, and that's where is the hidden sugar, basically, the sugar that doesn't agree with you, just because they are, sucrose, it's still a sugar, right? Not everyone can digest that as well. And sometimes, can give a little bit dodgy bellies as well, those kind of, alternative of the sugar replacements.
Right.
Other things I would say, carbohydrates, cut down all carbohydrates, because the reason I know a lot of, nutritionists and health coach preaching that carbs are not a killer, but in my view, in my point of view, it's these days, it kind of is. And the reason I say that, because I give you a simple example, right? Let's just talk about bread, right? The bread that we have today and the bread that we had 20 or 30 years ago, it's completely different. It's day and night. And the reason is that the ingredients that are so processed.
Right, preservatives to keep it to have a better, longer shelf life. Yeah, so it makes like there is nothing in there that is good left, basically, unless you make your own bread, you use your own ingredients, and exactly what's in there. Right. But when we buy these sort of things, and the pastas and the rice and everything, they just so much processed in it going on that it became a killer. Where years ago, a couple of decades ago, it didn't affect that way on our bodies because it was different. But these days, unfortunately, quality went down a hill. Yeah. But I think also what's good is that, now we were talking about things being able to be delivered in and out of season. I mean, just like you go for those chocolates and those other sweet treats, why not try to see about the same thing for those fresh fruits and vegetables? They have just as many places that are now delivering fresh foods, organic foods from different parts of the country. So now we have that accessibility. Like you said, we don't have to live in that particular environment to be exposed to them. We can have those sent to us as well, but then we want to be careful and make sure that anything when you're talking about having to, preserve something outside of its normal time, then that's where you have to be careful, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So these things just needs to be, people watch it out.
Right. And I think also a wonderful thing to do, and this is a great segue, is if you're not certain, find a nutritionist or a dietitian, somebody who can help you, because we don't know everything. We were all not raised to be nutritionists and dietitians and people who specialize in health and wellness. So that's why there are a plethora of people out there who do this for a living and who can, help you and guide you and coach you and be an accountability partner for you, so that way, where you need that help and that assistance, they can come in and walk with you through the process. So you're not having to do it alone. So with that, tell people how they can get in contact with you.
Oh, amazing. So I have a website. If anyone wants to go have a look, around my website is www.ketogenic-wellness.com. Or if you want to email me directly, you could do that as well. It's a hello@ketogenic-wellness.com. And at the moment I have a programs, and I've got the new program as a group program. It starts in 2nd of June.
Okay.
So if someone wants to hop on there, it's all information about all of my programs is on my website. So if anyone's interested, feel free to peek around and reach out to me.
Awesome. Okay, so that's www.ketogenic.wellness.com.
wellness.com.
Wellness. Okay. And we'll definitely have that in the description for the show when it airs. So you'll be able to get in contact with Gintare and also find out about her programs that are going to be rolling out in the 2nd week of June. So that is exciting. And probably by the time this show airs, you'll be able to go in and find out about those programs and sign up. So we're looking forward to that. And then they'll also be able to get in contact with you via email. And again, we'll have that information, regarding, we'll have that information listed when the show airs. So that is perfect. We want to make sure that people know how to get in contact with you and that they understand that, like I said, it's a mindset first, and that it is never wrong to ask for help. That's what platforms like these are created for. So that way we can pique your interest, let you know what's out there, let you know what's available to you, let you know some of the pitfalls that we see people going through as they're going through their wellness journey, and that this is not something that you have to do alone, and that when you have a pre-existing condition, it does not mean that it's a death sentence for you to ever be able to be well again. You just have to make those pivots and those adjustments. And there are people out there who are more than willing to reach back and to help you to achieve your personal wellness goals. So we thank you for that. We thank you for the information that you shared. Now, the one thing that I do with all of my guests before we close out the show is I ask, what are things that you are doing to live in this now, in this state of pandemic that we've been in for the last 2.5 years? Not a lot of people, like we said, it's mindset. So what are the things that you do to relax or to, live in this now, in this present moment? I
think it's, during the pandemic, you realize how you take everything for granted, right? Basically, it's literally kind of everything. So for me, like every single day, I live in the moment kind of sort of thing, and I enjoy my exercise. I enjoy going to a park, going for a run. I will stop. I will take it in, where there is the view, where there is the water, the canal where there is a swan swimming, I will stop. I will take that in, and I will start my day this kind of way, like that. And it just it gives me a lift. So to my spiritually, and my mood, helps me out. I could see that it's a beautiful place. And it slows me down, because I like a hyper person. I'm constantly in the go, and I do this and I do that. And this is for me, it's time me.
Yes.
So where I slow down, I will absorb, I will take it in, and I'll carry on with my day.
Yes, and see, and that's awesome because that's what we do. We get there and we launch out into the rat race and we begin doing everything and we don't stop to smell the roses. So yeah, we're saying is slow down, people. Slow down and take in the beauty that is around us because we should be great. We should express gratitude for that because it's not always that we're going to be in a state where we can appreciate those things. And like you said, we didn't appreciate the outside till we couldn't go. Until we couldn't go outside, we didn't appreciate it. And then once we were able to go back outside, everybody was scrambling to get back outdoors again and sitting in the park and breathing in the fresh air. You don't realize those things are gone until they're taken away from you. So I love that you say that. Stop and smell the roses, everyone. Okay. And so, again, we want to make sure that as you're embarking on your wellness journey, as we're getting into these summer months, really start getting your mindset on what it is that you want to do. What is your why? Why are you seeking to do what it is that you're doing for your wellness? What is it that you hope to accomplish out of this? And then make sure that you take the time to connect with the right people so that you can begin your journey for success and not set yourself up for failure. Right? Okay, do we have any other parting words for our guests before we go?
No, just, be mindful, take, each day as it comes. Don't less stress, the better, and just stay open-minded.
Open-minded. Okay, you heard it right here. And that will do it for this edition of the How Now podcast, where we talk about how to live in the now. Thanks again, Gintare, for being here with us. We wish you much success in all that you continue to do moving forward. And with that, I will see you all the next time. And until I see you then, I say peace.